The morning sun streamed through the stained glass windows of our family's estate library, casting colored shadows across faces I'd known all my life. Faces that had never quite known me. As per the terms of Elizabeth Montgomery's final trust amendment, our family lawyer, Mr. Harrison, began formally. We are gathered to discuss the distribution of the Montgomery Group assets. I sat quietly in the corner, watching my father straighten his Italian silk tie, a nervous habit he'd had since I was a child. Next to him, my sister Victoria adjusted her Cartier watch. Manicured fingers, tapping impatiently on the antique mahogany table. 2 weeks had passed since we buried Grandma Elizabeth, the woman who'd built Montgomery Investments from a small family office into a $4.8 billion empire. 2 weeks of whispered conversations, hidden meetings, and not-so-subtle celebrations from those who thought they knew what was coming. They didn't. Before we proceed, Mr. Harrison continued, I should note that Mrs. Montgomery made several unusual requests regarding this meeting. Just get on with it, James, my father interrupted. We all know what Mother wanted. Did they? I thought, remembering the last 3 years of quiet Sunday afternoons in Grandma's private study. The lessons she taught me while everyone else was at the country club. The empire she'd really built, hidden behind the one they thought they knew. Very well. Mr. Harrison adjusted his glasses. The primary Montgomery Group holdings, including the investment firm, real estate portfolio, and technological ventures, will be distributed as follows. Victoria leaned forward, her perfectly styled hair falling slightly out of place, the only sign of her anticipation. To Victoria Montgomery Pierce, Mr. Harrison Reed, in recognition of her MBA from Harvard Business School and her position as Chief Strategy Officer. My sister's smile grew wider. Shares amounting to 15% of Montgomery Investments, plus the summer house in Martha's Vineyard. The smile faltered. 15%? That's all. I suppressed a small smile, remembering Grandma's words. Watch their faces when they realize how little they really know. To William Montgomery, the lawyer continued, addressing my father, in recognition of 30 years of service as CEO. Dad straightened, confident in his position as eldest child and current chief executive. Shares amounting to 20% of Montgomery Investments, plus the London office property. 20. My father's voice cracked. There must be some mistake. Mother always said, if I may continue. Mr. Harrison interrupted firmly. To various minor shareholders and board members, 10% distributed according to the attached schedule. The room had grown tenser with each announcement. Simple math told them that 55% of the company, the controlling interest, remained unallocated. Finally, Mr. Harrison turned to me. And to Alexandra Montgomery. Let me guess, Victoria sneered. The family photo albums? That's more your speed, isn't it, little sister? I thought about the last video call with Grandma, 3 days before she passed. About the documents hidden in my apartment safe. About the truth they'd never bothered to see. Alexandra gets nothing, my father announced with a cold smile. Mother and I discussed this extensively. She's not qualified to handle any significant portion of the business. Mr. Harrison raised an eyebrow. Oh, and when was this discussion? Last month, at the hospital. She was very clear about Alex's limitations. I reached for my phone, opening a specific video file. Interesting, because I have Grandma's actual last words right here. What are you talking about? Victoria snapped. Silently, I placed my phone on the table and pressed play. The screen filled with Grandma Elizabeth's face, recorded in her study 3 days before she passed. If you're watching this, she began, her voice strong despite her illness. Then the vultures have already started circling. William, Victoria, I see you both. I've always seen you. My father's face paled slightly. You think you know this company. You think your MBAs and your country club connections make you worthy of what I built. But while you were posturing and plotting, you missed what was right in front of you. The video showed her picking up a thick folder. For the past 3 years, Alexandra has been running Montgomery Investments' Asian division. Under a different name, of course. Can't have you interfering with actual success, can we? Under her leadership, that division has outperformed all others by 300%. Victoria's head snapped toward me, but I kept watching the screen. But that's not all. Grandma continued. Show them, Alexandra. Show them what we built while they were too busy underestimating you. This was my cue. I pulled out my laptop, connected it to the library's display screen, and opened a series of documents. The Asian division was just the beginning, I said quietly. 3 years ago, Grandma asked me to audit the entire company. What we found wasn't pretty. Spreadsheets filled the screen. Evidence of mismanagement, hidden losses, and questionable decisions under my father's leadership. You've lost $600 million in failed ventures that you've hidden from the board, I continued. Covered up 3 potential SEC violations, and nearly bankrupted our tech division with that merger you forced through last year. How dare you? My father started to rise. Sit down, William. Grandma's voice commanded from the video. You've done enough damage. Alexandra didn't just find your mistakes. She fixed them. Remember that mysterious investor who bailed out the tech division? That was her, using the fund I helped her build. The strategic partner who saved the European expansion. Also her. I switched to another document, my personal portfolio overview. Their eyes widened at the numbers. While you were drinking champagne at board meetings, I said, I was learning, building, protecting what Grandma created from what you nearly destroyed. Impossible, Victoria whispered. You're the quiet one, the family disappointment. No, Grandma's voice corrected. She's the one who understood what really matters. Not titles, not appearances, but responsibility, vision, integrity. The final document appeared on screen, the trust amendment's full terms. Alexandra Montgomery, Mr. Harrison read formally, inherits controlling interest in Montgomery Investments, 55% of all shares, full voting rights, and immediate appointment as Chief Executive Officer. The room exploded in protests. Victoria knocked over her water glass. Dad started quoting bylaws he'd never actually read. One more thing. Grandma's voice cut through the chaos. Alexandra has held proxy voting rights for my shares for the past year. Every major decision you thought I approved, that was her. She's been running this company while you played at being leaders. I stood up, straightening my simple black blazer. The board meeting is at 2. I suggest you all review the new organizational charts before then. There are going to be some changes. You can't do this, my father sputtered. I'm CEO. The board works for me now. I corrected him. Just like they've actually been doing for the past year. They just didn't know it. As I walked toward the door, Victoria called out, We're your family. I turned back, remembering all the dismissive comments, the excluded invitations, the years of being treated as an afterthought. No, I said quietly. We're business associates now, and you both work for me. The video ended with Grandma's final words. Remember, Alexandra, power isn't in what they see. It's in what they miss while they're too busy looking down on you. I left them in the library, their world shattered like the water glass at Victoria's feet. Outside, my assistant waited with updated reports from our Asian offices. Time to show them what the quiet one could really do. The Montgomery Group's headquarters occupied the top 10 floors of a gleaming tower in downtown Boston. By 1:45 p.m., news of the morning's trust revelation had spread through all of them. I stepped out of the private elevator into what was now my executive floor, noting how quickly people's expressions had changed. Gone were the dismissive glances and condescending smiles. Now they watched me with a mixture of fear and fascination. The board members are already in the conference room, my executive assistant Michael informed me. And your father is demanding a private meeting before we begin. Is he? I smiled slightly. How's Victoria handling things? She's called 6 different lawyers in the past 3 hours. None of them willing to challenge the trust after seeing the documentation. I nodded, unsurprised. Grandma had spent decades building relationships with the best legal minds in Boston. They knew better than to cross her. Or now, me. The main conference room was a testament to the corporate power. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city, handcrafted furniture, and today, 12 very nervous board members. My father stood as I entered, his face a mask of barely controlled rage. Alexandra, we need to discuss this privately. No, we don't. I took my seat at the head of the table, his former position. Everything I have to say can be said here. I opened my laptop, connecting it to the room's display system. The screens came alive with data, performance metrics, project analyses, and financial reports. For those who haven't heard, there have been some changes in Montgomery Group's leadership structure, I began calmly. I now hold controlling interest and will be assuming the role of CEO, effective immediately. This is absurd, my father interrupted. The board won't. The board, I cut him off, has been watching our Asian division outperform every other sector for the past 3 years. Would you like to know why? I switched to a new slide, an organizational chart showing the division's structure under my leadership. While you were focusing on old business models and outdated strategies, I rebuilt our Asian operations from the ground up, modernized our technology infrastructure, established new partnership models, created actual value instead of just talking about it at charity galas. Several board members leaned forward, studying the numbers with newfound interest. Under the name Alexander Shen, I've been running our most profitable division while you dismissed me as the family disappointment. I looked directly at my father. Did you ever wonder why you couldn't meet this mysterious executive who kept outperforming your targets? Victoria, who'd slipped into the room late, paled visibly. She'd spent months trying to arrange a meeting with Alexander Chen, hoping to learn her secrets. The numbers don't lie, I continued. Our Asian division's ROI is triple the company average. Employee retention is 95% compared to your 60%. And we haven't had a single SEC compliance issue, unlike some other divisions. I switched to another document, a detailed analysis of the company's weaknesses under the previous leadership. Now let's discuss the changes that need to happen. For the next 2 hours, I outlined my vision for Montgomery Group's future. New technology investments, streamlined operations, enhanced compliance protocols. With each point, I could see the board members' expressions shifting from skepticism to understanding. Mr. Montgomery will transition to an advisory role, I announced, watching my father's knuckles whiten on the armrest. Victoria will remain as Chief Strategy Officer, but with revised responsibilities. You can't demote me, my father protested. I built this company. No, I corrected him. Grandma built it. You nearly broke it. Would you like me to show everyone the real numbers from the European merger? He fell silent, finally understanding the depth of what I knew. As for the rest of you, I addressed the board. Your positions are secure, assuming you adapt to our new direction. First quarter targets and performance metrics are in the folders being distributed now. Michael moved around the table, handling out detailed documentation of my plans. One last thing, I added, pulling up a final document. This is my personal investment portfolio, the one I built while you all thought I was finding myself after college. The numbers spoke for themselves. $1 billion fund built through strategic investments and careful planning. Everything I've done for the past 3 years has been preparation for this moment. I learned every aspect of our business, built my own success to prove I could. And now, I'm going to fix what you all broke. Victoria finally spoke up, her voice trembling slightly. Why didn't you tell us? We're family. I thought about all the family dinners where they talked over me, the meetings where they'd ignored my suggestions, the years of being treated as an afterthought. Family, I laughed softly. Family would have seen me, would have asked why Grandma spent so much time with me in her final years, would have wondered why our Asian division's success coincided with my quarter-life crisis travels. I stood up, straightening my blazer. But you didn't see. You didn't ask. You didn't wonder. And now, you work for me. The shareholders, my father began, already know. I cut him off. The press release went out an hour ago. Our stock is up 12% on the news of new leadership. I nodded to Michael, who began distributing another set of folders. These are your new contracts. Review them with your lawyers if you wish, but they're non-negotiable. Sign them by tomorrow morning or clear out your offices. As they filed out, shocked and subdued, my father lingered behind. I'm still your father, he said quietly. Yes, I agreed. But you're also an employee who's underperformed for years. Don't confuse the two. Left alone in the conference room, I walked to the windows, looking out at the city Grandma had taught me to conquer. My phone buzzed. A message from her old assistant. Elizabeth would be proud. Show them what real power looks like. I smiled, remembering Grandma's favorite saying, "Let them underestimate you. It makes the victory sweeter." The real work was just beginning. Time to show them exactly what the quiet one could do with an empire. 3 months after the board meeting that changed everything, I sat in what was now truly my office, reviewing the first quarter results under my leadership. The numbers told a story that even my biggest critics couldn't deny. Stock price up 28%. Operating costs down 15%. Employee satisfaction scores at an all-time high. And most importantly, the toxic culture that had plagued Montgomery Group for years was finally changing. A knock at my door interrupted my analysis. "Come in," I called, already knowing who it would be. Victoria entered, looking different from the polished, arrogant sister I'd grown up with. 3 months of actual work had changed her. Her designer clothes were still impeccable, but there was a new humility in her stance. "The Singapore merger documents are ready for your review," she said, placing a thick folder on my desk. "And I found something else you should see." She hesitated, then pulled out an old leather-bound notebook. It was in Dad's private safe. I think you need to know the whole truth." I recognized the notebook immediately. Grandma's personal journal, the one that had gone missing after her death. "Sit down," I said, gesturing to the chair across from me. "Tell me why you're really here." Victoria sank into the chair, her composure cracking slightly. "I've been reviewing the old board minutes, trying to understand how we missed so much. And I found patterns. things Dad did that didn't make sense. I opened the journal, already suspecting what I'd find. Grandma had told me pieces of this story, but never the whole truth. He was embezzling, Victoria said quietly, for years. Small amounts at first, then larger ones. Grandma knew, didn't she? That's why she chose you. I turned to a marked page in the journal, reading Grandma's elegant handwriting. William thinks power is about control, about taking. He never understood that true power is about building, protecting, growing. But Alexandra, she sees it, just like I did at her age. Did you know, Victoria asked, about Dad's theft? I knew enough, I replied. Grandma showed me the evidence 3 years ago. It's why we started preparing for this transition. I pulled out my laptop, opening a secure folder. These are the complete records. Nearly $50 million over 12 years, hidden in offshore accounts. Money that should have gone to employee pensions, research and development, company growth. Victoria's face paled. What are you going to do? What I've already done, I said calmly. The money has been recovered and returned to the appropriate accounts. Dad's assets have been frozen, and he has exactly one chance to make this right. On cue, my father walked into the office, escorted by Michael. He looked older than he had 3 months ago, the weight of his secrets finally showing. Sit down, Dad, I said, gesturing to the other chair. It's time we had an honest conversation about legacy. He saw the journal on my desk and seemed to deflate further. Elizabeth knew. Grandma knew everything, I confirmed. Every hidden transfer. Every falsified report. Every lie you told the board. She knew, and she prepared for this moment. I opened another file on my laptop. A video recording I'd never shown anyone. Grandma, sitting in her study 2 years ago, looking directly at the camera. William, her voice filled the office. If you're watching this, then Alexandra has found the journal. You thought I didn't see what you were doing to my company, to our family's legacy. But I saw everything, and I chose my successor accordingly. My father's hands trembled slightly. Alexandra, the recording continued, has my strength without my pride, my vision without my blindness to family betrayal. She'll fix what you broke, William, and she'll do it with the grace I never managed to teach you. I stopped the video, looking at my father and sister. Here's what happens next. Dad, you'll quietly retire, citing health reasons. You'll repay every dollar you took with interest, and you'll stay away from company operations permanently. And if I refuse, he challenged, a flash of his old arrogance returning. Then I release everything, I said simply. The evidence goes to the board, the SEC, and the press. Your choice. Victoria leaned forward. What about me? I studied my sister, seeing something new in her expression. Not just humility, but understanding. You've done good work these past 3 months, I acknowledged. Real work, not just playing at being an executive. If you want to stay, earn your position. Show me you understand what responsibility really means. She nodded slowly. I'd like to learn. Actually learn this time. Then start with this. I handed her a new file. Our European division needs restructuring. Show me a real plan. Not just fancy presentations and empty promises. As they left my office, Dad to draft his retirement announcement, Victoria to tackle her first real challenge. I turned to Grandma's journal again. The final entry read, Power isn't in the money, the titles, or the corner office. It's in the quiet strength to build something lasting, to protect what matters, to rise above personal grudges for the greater good. Alexandra understands this. That's why she'll succeed where William failed. Sometimes the quiet ones carry the loudest truth. My phone buzzed with messages. Asian markets opening strong, European partnerships expanding, domestic operations streamlining. The empire was growing stronger every day. I walked to the windows, watching the city lights flicker on as dusk approached. In the reflection, I saw not just myself, but the legacy Grandma had trusted me to protect and expand. "Thank you, Grandma," I whispered, "for seeing me when no one else did." The quiet one had found her voice. The overlooked daughter had claimed her throne. And the real work of building something lasting was finally, truly beginning. Because sometimes the greatest power lies not in what you take, but in what you build. Not in how loudly you speak, but in how carefully you listen. Not in the title you claim, but in the legacy you protect. The Montgomery Group would rise again, stronger than ever. Built on truth this time, not secrets. On merit, not manipulation. On quiet strength, not empty power. And I would make sure of it. One decision, one day, one victory at a time.